don't know which one yet.
Well, that sounds good. Either one. I've never had sushi, but my husband, he's had it and he said that it's good. So
I love it. I love it. It's expensive, so sometimes I try to do it. I used to do it every week. Now it's once a month.
well, there's
$40
nothing
every week is a lot.
true. That would add up quite fast, especially if you got a family. So yeah, I can
Yeah.
definitely understand that one.
Yeah, it can definitely be tough, but sometimes like it's life, right? Like you can't take the money with you, as they say. So sometimes you gotta find that balance in life.
That is true. That is very true.
So I know today you're joining me to talk about trauma
Yeah.
and how we can be empowered through it. So do me a favor, please, because
Mhm.
these are big topics and something that's close to my heart, most likely close to yours. Introduce yourself, tell my audience a little bit about who you are, and of course, where they can find you.
I can definitely do that. So my name is Robin Stoltman. I am a certified hypnotherapist. I've got over 20 certifications. The easiest way to explain it is that I'm a master of the behaviors and communication. I've put a lot of hours, a lot of education into what it is that I do. And I also have real life experience. So it's not just I can talk about it. I've actually got the experience behind everything that I do. And it does come into play when helping other people out there with similar issues. And then also what I've been doing is I've been expanding my business. So I've got Maxwell Leadership that I also am a executive program leader for coach, speaker, and trainer. And then I also have um, I've spent the last 11 and a half years of my life pregnant. This November will officially be 12 years, and I am going up for my eighth C-section in a row this September, and I'm looking forward to it. And my oldest child is 9, the youngest is 17 months. So I know how to have a successful business, how to overcome a lot of different traumas, a lot of different issues that are health problems, and heal them all naturally. And that's what I love what I do.
Congratulations on all of that. That's exciting news. How does it
Thank you.
feel?
It feels really good that I'm going in for my eighth one in a row. I'm like, this time I'm giving myself a break because the other ones I was like, okay, they're out. Now get back to work. And this time I'm like, you know what? I need a break. So that's why while I'm building my Instagram, which is Robin Stoltman, and my website is robinstoltman.com. And then also my I'm trying to think. My YouTube is Robin Stoltman, and then my LinkedIn is Healing for the Soul Plus, and then also my TikTok is Robin Stoltman. I went with my name, my first and last name for Robin Stoltman, Robin with an I, not a Y. I went with that because when people look me up for Healing for the Soul Plus, it kept coming back to somebody else. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna fix this problem. Lo and behold, I fixed it just by using my name. Now everything comes back appropriately to Healing for the Soul Plus.
There you go. So let me ask you the
Mhm.
first question. When it comes to trauma, how does trauma show up in people's lives?
It can show up as many different ways. Most people would think that money, for example, has nothing to do with it, but it will show up as lack of money, or somebody is working so hard to achieve that they're not able to get satisfaction from what they're doing. They're not feeling that fulfillment. And so that's one of the ways, but people generally don't think of money or the lack of money in that way, that it would show that trauma would show through that. Most people think of trauma that it would show up in your relationships. Like, why am I attracting all of these men that are horrible to me? Well, you're attracting them because you saw that growing up and there was something beneficial that you saw in that. And then you're like, well, I got a sibling that attracts the good relationships. Well, that's because they seen what they did not like and they avoided it. It's all depends on the brain and how a person is wired, if they've seen it as a positive or a negative. And so that's where, when we're talking about trauma specifically, it can show up in a multitude of ways. It shows up in relationships, it shows up in your finances, it can show up in all the health problems that a person attracts. Because 95% of our health problems are not actual real, they're in our head. And by in our head, I mean that arthritis, for example, everybody has arthritis. It's a normal part of aging. But some people feel the arthritis, like people that have fibromyalgia. They feel it because they have unresolved trauma. They have not dealt with it. Traditional talk therapy does not work to solve that problem. And the traditional ways is go pop pills, go pop lotions, potions, whatever you want to call them these days. I'm just saying. That's what they have a person do. And you talk about the problem. And of course, that problem expands because it's energy, it expands. So then when you're using something like hypnosis, guided meditation, guided imagery, trance, whatever you want to call it these days, they all fall under the same categories. What happens is you're getting to the root of that problem in the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is the feelings mind. That's the emotional mind. And it acts like a 2-year-old child. That's what the subconscious mind is, basically. And it's not saying that we're not adults, but if you look around at a majority of adults, my children act better than they do. I'm just saying. It's because they were never taught self control. They were never taught how to handle those emotions. They were taught to drug them up. Doesn't matter if you call it a prescription bottle or the alcohol bottle. It doesn't matter what you call it. They're taught to put a band aid on those emotions, especially men, which really ticks me off because men have emotions. And a lot of women, I'm not sorry, but a lot of women need to get, there's a reason why a lot of men are not attracted to a lot of the women out there. Because if you notice, a majority of women don't got their head on straight. They don't understand what they want. They treat men like garbage because that's what they've seen. That's what society pushes. And then they wonder why they can't attract a good man. It's 100% on the woman. Like, then the same goes for the men. Like, if you want something good out of life, you want a good partner, you have to be that good person. So when we're talking about how does trauma show up, it very much shows up in the relationships. It shows up in your finances. It shows up everywhere around you. The problem is that most people don't take the time to understand themselves. Because once you understand yourself, then you understand, oh my God, I attracted that horrible relationship. Oh my gosh, I attracted the reason why I can't have kids. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I attracted this too. Because we create. That's our gift. That's what we do. So in trauma, I know a lot of people are like, well, I didn't attract someone sexually abusing me. After the first time, you 100% do. And the reason for that is because your subconscious mind, again, is the feelings. And its sole goal is to protect you at any and all costs. It does not care how it has to protect you. It will do it. And the goal of the subconscious mind is to keep you alive and protect you. That's all it is. So it's going to keep you away from things that are safe, like a good relationship. If you've gone through trauma like I have, I realized, you know what? After the first time, my brain was doing exactly what it was meant to do. It was meant to keep me safe from experiencing more sexual abuse and more other traumas. Well, it did its job by focusing on that issue. It attracted it to me. So it kept repeating and kept happening. Then the moment I started realizing this with hypnosis, because traditional talk therapy 16 years didn't work, didn't do anything for me, and neither did the medications, what I realized once I became a hypnotherapist, diving more into it, and I'm like, oh, the subconscious mind was just trying to protect me from all the trauma. It wasn't trying to bring it to me. It was literally after the first time, it says, okay, now we know exactly what to expect, what happened. We don't want that experience again. So now I'm going to think about it, which the thinking causes that to happen again, like I said. And the only way you can get rid of it is to think positive. But when you're in that circumstance, it's extremely hard to think positive. I mean, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's just, it's really hard to think positive. And I didn't have the skills as a child to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to think positive, happy thoughts. That's not exactly what happens. So being an adult, I'm able to say, you know what? I love myself. I'm glad for what happened because I learned a lot. Like I overcame fibromyalgia. I was diagnosed with that back when I was a garbage term, back when I was 14, 15 years old. It was called garbage term back then because doctors just didn't know what it was and all that. And there was only 9 tender points. Well, now there's 18 of them. And I'm so thankful to God that I figured this out with the trauma because now I don't have fibromyalgia anymore. I wouldn't want fibromyalgia, put it that way, with all the kids that I've got. That'd be horrible because my husband remembers the days that he couldn't even touch my arms because the pain was so bad. And I took the medication. I'd seen the talk therapist. That didn't work. But what worked is the second I got to the root of the problem, which was dealing with it subconsciously in hypnosis. Because what hypnosis does is it removes you from the problem that you created. And once you remove the problem from the problem, then the problem can be fixed because your subconscious mind knows how to fix it on its own. You just give it a new belief, a new set of patterns, and then it'll go out and do whatever you want it to do. So I don't know if that answered your question. I know there's quite a bit in that, but trauma very much does show up in the body, shows up in relationships, it shows up everywhere, basically, until you fix it.
That's what, and you did answer. That's what I want to get to because I know there's a number of people that unfortunately will ignore the signs of the trauma. So, for example, the body will tell you things well in advance in a lot of cases, and some people ignore it because let's say they've drowned themselves in work or they've surrounded themselves by negativity so they can't see what is going on because everything around them is in chaos, so they can't see the chaos of their body. Or worse yet, they put themselves in difficult relationship after difficult relationship, and the chaotic nature of those relationships, friendships or romantic, becomes their baseline. So hey, I have drama today, Robin. I have drama yesterday. Do you know why? Because drama is normal to me. I don't know what it's like to be healthy. What do you then think are some of the obstacles that people face when it comes to identifying the type of trauma in their life and how they can address it?
For me, what I have seen personally in the clients that I've treated and then also myself as well in this mix is that they have trouble recognizing that they have to take ownership and responsibility that they've caused it. That's the biggest thing is that they have to realize that they've caused this. They have to look at themselves in the mirror. I'm not saying that it's easy. Well, what I am saying is that when you have the ability to look at yourself in the mirror and take ownership, it starts to change the way you look at yourself, the way you look at things around you. And most people aren't willing to do that type of work. Like I did it years before I found out anything about the hypnosis. Like I remember yelling at myself in the mirror, like, you're the problem. You're the reason why we've got this going on. Like I remember doing that at Abbott Northwestern Heart Hospital back when I lived in Minnesota. I remember doing that. And I look back now at the moments like that. And I think I did not know that I was doing mirror work. I just knew that the problem was within me. And I think that's where a lot of people don't identify that they are the problem. They've caused these issues and breaking free from it. You're not going to be able to do it with medication. I don't care what the prescription bottle is. Like I said, if it's alcohol, drugs, one's from the doctors, they do the exact